let's testify about grace and miracles. Reading from Jeremiah chapter 32, the verse 27, scripture says, "Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me?" God gives us miracle where we no longer have the strength to continue, but He will not give us miracles when He has given us grace. Because in grace, we find the strength to do what ordinarily we are not able to do. When you read Acts chapter 19, the verse 12, it tells us of how Paul's handkerchief and aprons were used to heal the sick and cast out demons. And Paul himself experienced a lot of miracles. But again, when you read 2 Corinthians chapter 12, the verse 7 to 9, it tells us of a messenger of Satan that was given to be a thorn in his flesh. And he besought the Lord 3 times, and God told him that his grace is sufficient, for his strength is made perfect in his weakness. When you read the verse 9, it tells us that the reason why God had given him that was just so that he will not be exalted in the abundance of revelations that has been given to him. It was necessary for Paul to go through that process to have the grace. So you see, God, because God saw it necessary, He gave him the grace to go through it. Let's look at other examples in the lives of Peter and then in the lives of John the Baptist. Peter goes to prison. The disciples are praying for him, and then he sees a miracle where an angel appears in his cell and leads him out of prison. And yet John the Baptist was murdered in prison. It was not that God was not able to perform the same miracle in the life of John the Baptist. However, it was necessary that he decrease for Christ to increase. There is a purpose in the process that God will not use a miracle to cut short for your convenience. May we have the grace and the wisdom to know where grace has been given and where we need a miracle. When you read 2 Corinthians chapter 12, the verse 9, when God gave his response to Paul, and Paul understood that it was necessary for him to endure the messenger of Satan that has been sent to torment, to buffet him, or to be a thorn in his flesh, he said, "Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecution, in distress, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong."